Vector communication lines, triangle force line, center interference location. Piece 3D in position, piece 3D down line, rotation calculation. Coming in line, position location on line. 4 track line centers, north, north, south, and east, position location, triangulation, 3, 6, 9. In positions of space line, in position location, center line, in position location, grounds. We truly understand line, center, interference location, and calculation. This is going to give you a bit of information to its line system. So it's to understand how we set things up and how we calculate, modify all of the 3, 6, 9. What is 3, 6, 9? What does it mean to you? Well, it's everything locational line. It comes into all position locations when it comes into yin and yang. The process of the communication line stream is to understand adaptation system. So what we're going to do today in schools, we're going to try view line centers because this is day 2 on test line position creation review and evaluation. We'll setting course line triangles and communication to set you guys in Saturn. Okay, it's going to be a magnetic field. That position location is put in the line center location half byte. 2 vector line centers and position location up and 2 position them down. Cross signal locations into a triangle force line and communication line stream into levels and 2 moon line centers and triangulation force. Communication interference. All positions go. Calculation high stream interference calculations. Travel line centers of all lines, space communication, spectral light communication system. Allocate time line centers interference to all positions of measure communication line center in position of directions. 2 sun lines and communication down and shift line centers. 3 line centers and rotation line position location calculations. High position location down line and Merkaba position of direction line system. Force communication line triangles and communication line system. Allocate time stream location into 2 line centers and vector communication line streams. Open out communication to its information line panel and high interference location calculation. Now, this is all done through left and right, right and left line center locations of the finger communication system. It's to understand the code line center and how it's set up, position of bracket interference, the 7-digit code system location calculations, flight navigations 1 to 12. Understand location line centers, your 12 DNA line center interference. So planet division location 3, 6, and 9 is everything through the meaning of life, guys. It's all through triangulation. All right. Once you understand the position locations, 3, 3, 3 comes in high center locations, taking you out of 9 line center in ground line sign, put position locations into the center position locations, add in meaning line center, rotation center location, add an electron line center into yin and yang position process communication system. Position line center location of space and position locations of levels of the ground and the angelic line system. The angelics is the cross line stream, which is 5 position location calculation. Puts you into all levels of Gardens of Eden, high center communication, all level system. When you come into all levels of Earth, okay, Gardens of Earth, okay, ethers of Earth, high center interference location calculation. So there's a lot of things you have to understand. Leaving the 3-dimensional line of its past, of its Earth, is putting you into what? The present line in that calculations. Putting you into 3, 3, 3, heart, mind, soul. And the body of position location is your Earth. Okay? So 3, 3, 3 equals Earth. Piece 3 line up, piece 3 line down, cross line center positions, bracket high center locations, square reference line triangle, triangle force line communication to 3, 6, 9. That position of direction opens all signals. Okay? Spectrum lights, communication, core line centers, interference location calculations. Get the team line center into all levels. Sector, vector, quadrant line center, interdimensional organizational system, intergalactic system. Set them up in space line center in all line circle locations. Set in high center locations. Set them in position locations to planet surface of spectrums. Correlation line centers. Computer adaptation circles. Getting you a flash drive memory line center. Location is Saturn. Signal high center interference. 30 minutes on the clock. Have fun. In that position and directions, high channels. Let's go on to core line center interference location and calculations. How's everybody doing? Traveling right away. Missy, how's it going? Terry, Don, Johnny, Michael, Airbender, Ambi, Jill, Lindsay, Pam, Val, Peacemaker, Yolanda, Little Jess. How's everybody doing? All communications, Rainer, Sarah. Okay. Saturn, yes. In communication. Tina, how's it going? Max. All right. Terry. All right, Gypsy. All right, so what's happening right now, Danny? All right, Veronica, Sammy. All right, so make sure you guys get your perimeters, sectors, lines, communication security measures, high force line communication directions. Okay, channeling to one line center interference. To understand the law and position location calculations. So we're going to go into applied to division locations, how I became line centers of 369. All universe combined, all positions go, calculation line interference. So this is how it works through line center interference location calculations. Starting in a 12 line center, let's go to that locations. 12 equals 24, 24 into box line position locations, high position point center, fluctuation line conditions, right? That position locations comes into trifactor, right? Tri equals factor in that position locations. Tri equals factor in position over times pi. Calculation position of timeline center. Okay. Teleportation and perception. Times pi is extremely important. It's understanding the direction location from one to another. All right. So you get in that position of directions. Now you get into 48 line triangles. Okay, that's an open window. And then you come into center position location of 72 in center location into equal line center rotation into 144. Position location, circle its line condition. All right. So understanding, when I woke up, I went right into 144. Okay, capacity to bring all line center location percentage. 144, okay, equals 369. All right. Now you're probably thinking, what is 144? Well, 144 is the capacity location, fluctuation line position to its ground system. All right. High position location to its antenna. There's the TV. All right. So 144 comes out of track location in position of direction. Taking high center locations, put in 369 in position location of direction. See how the high force lines comes into a graph of position locations to levels of correlation. All right. Now, getting in that position locations, trying to understand, when I was going through that line centers, I was trying to find out the capacity of what I was doing through calculations, trying to understand all levels of 369. What does that all mean? Well, it's all position location, how we use the 3-line center. So 3-line center, let's circle location. That's 3, right? In position of 6, okay? That's the moon. And position location 9. 9 is here, right? You have to come in a triangle first. Right, and that position location calculations. Now, understand this is you right now coming out to here. All right, so the 9 represents the equal line center location, which is, let's say, your quad 6, your 6% line connection. Right, so you're 6% out of your body. Okay, from 1 to 6. So the 9 is here. Okay, and the 9 comes in here in 3 line centers. Okay, grounds, angelic, space. So that's a space line communication of 5 position of direction. So when you get into that direction, it changes everything in that formation locations, right? So this 9 has to be released. Okay, once it's released, it releases its earth of its past, and then you come in position location and directions, and you fluctuate up in the high line center of 3, 3, 3. Balanced communication of heart, mind, and soul, people. All right, so that's what has to happen. The synchronous interference location 9 has to understand the communication, right? 9 comes here and in here. Once it stays in the center line, center rotation, you come into levels of your position locations, all right? So this is what you have to understand what this is. What does this represent? Peace, right? So in calculations, this is your 3, this is your 6, and this is your 9. Triangulation line position has to be in position, location, and directions, right? So it's interesting to look at these things, right? So this is cross signal, okay, rotation, spin cycle, energy field, position, location, and calculations. One atom, there's another atom line center interference, calculation, position, location. One position down, one position up, okay? So cross line centers, 5 position locations, which is all levels equals earth line center in calculation. Now, in that position, grounds its system of its mind system. Mind equals the ground interference location of its earth system in calculations. So in platitude division location, 369 becomes your Merkaba, Hua. A calculation stream interference, position of directions. Now, getting to understand more levels, how to use 3, 6, and 9 is truly understand you from all 10 planes up of space and all 10 planes of ground, so the emotion. Emotional system is position location of everything. That's the grounds. You have to release the grounds if it's past, if it's earth, or you can't move into past, position location, the present line. Splits division location to calculations, right? So you got the male and the female aspect location, and you got the ground position location, right? Understanding that position location puts you into what? A butterfly effect. Changing butterfly effect comes in position locations times pi, right? In position location of space, time. Space is up here, line center. So it gets bigger and bigger. So why is the signal? Why is it signal? Why is it signal? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger each time. Okay? So once you get in that position locations, you come into all levels of north, west, south, and east. Okay? Once you get in that position locations, you come into the all line center to your diamond core. Once you come into that position location, you come into your torical field. There's your positions of your Merkaba, and then you automatically sit in the position location of direction. This is you in the center position location of calculation, standing in your teleportation unit. All right, so this is eternity standing. Why it's so important to understand 3, 6, and 9. It's all position location of you. All right. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. 1 plus 1 equals 3. Why is that? So let's go in calculations, right? Position of directions, all right? So Adam, okay, equals Eve. Adam equals Eve, right? 1 plus 1, circle, line, center, interference, location, directions, right? Adam, Eve equals 3. Who's the 3 line center? You are. 3 equals line center of your position locations in your track system of 1%. If you start off the activation, if you're in the quadrant line center, your position location is 6%. That is you, equals 9. Okay, 6% of 9. So now you understand what 1 plus 1 equals 3. Adam, Eve equals you, which is 6% of 9, or 1% of 9. Hoo-ah. All right, now we understand why 1 plus 1 is not 2. How do you guys feel about that? It's exciting, isn't it? Is it getting fun? So, in position of directions, now you truly stand the core line center where it comes into the circle location into the peace sign. So 9 stays in position. Adam's here, Eve's here. You're coming in Adam and Eve times pi. Okay? Now, in position location, you come into the ground center. Okay? That opens all positional calculations. Bounce communication online into 5. 5 position locations equals line center location of its Earth. Earth comes up to position location on line system, all levels to its calculation, right? So once you get into that position, then you truly understand your universe inside. Your universe is Adam and Eve equals line center of you. You are in the center operation, which stays in the position locations. So your sun is intradirectory and your moon's intradirectory. There it is, right there. Sun and the moon, right there. Electrical light connections. In position of the center operation line center, which is all levels of 1, 2, 3 Stargate positions. Now you're in the present line center of your position location into your ground center of its presence. Hoo-ah! Which is all levels of 3, 3, 3. 3, 6, and 9. 9 stays in the center. Triangulation times pi. Hoo-ah! All right, so now you understand why so levels of so many communication system. All right, so I'm going to apply it to division location, understand all levels of what's going on, so you understand the concept of 1 plus 1 equals 3. Now you know. How do you feel? Now, making a lot more sense now, isn't it? Especially when you understand the travel locations. So in position location, you go from this, you go from this, And in position location, you start with that line, right? But before you do that, you have to be into this, you have to be into this, and you have to be into this. All right. So it's about putting a Merkaba together in correlation into all levels of GOD, geometrics operation design. Direction of division puts you in positions to your shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols. 3-diagram structure. So once you understand that position locations, this is what it is. So you have the Adam and Eve. You stay in the center. That is your trajectory location to your fluctuation, which is your flux capacitor. Adam equals Eve. Okay? In correlation, you are the center operation of you, which is 9 equals 1. Let's just start with the 1%. Okay? 1% is you. You are in the grounds, no longer in the past. You are now in the present. So the operation of position, location, and direction circles into Adam and Eve in a full cycle rotation center. Hooah. All right. So understanding that position location puts you into where? Now back to the 3-line center in position of the force line communicated present interference. We come into 3, 6, and 9. We come into 3, 6, and 9. And we come into 3, 6, and 9. Okay. That's where it starts. Triangulation, 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 right? 3 ground lines, grounds, angelics, space. All this has to come in position of center, position, location. All right? Comes into the center operation line, center, and interference. This comes in position directions. And this here starts here. It turns its position location into directory into downshift location to its motion. It comes in a downshift. It has to, because the 3-dimensional line of its triangle is flipped upside up. It's got to flip upside down. So it comes in position of direction and it comes into its Merkaba to its tesseract location of its tetrahedron. Hoo-ah! Woo! 3 position locations, an all-level line center of 3, 6, and 9. Isn't that amazing? Do you understand the position location on what 3, 6, 9 is? Get a better understanding now, right? So that's the position location of calculations. This is your earth line center right now. It's got to go into this position. It's got to go into directory, and it's got to go in this position locations. It's got to come here, right? It's got to be here. So this comes into here, right? And this north and west, south and east comes into here. See how it's coming into Merkaba? So in that position, you have your fluctuation, flux capacitor. You got the center operation, turning it into an atom system, calculation of system, put it all together. Adam and Eve, 2 calculations equals 3, 6, and 9. Hoo-ah. There's your Merkaba. Right? So you can understand why the 3-dimensional line of the Earth has to rotate its triangle position, because it's grounds of its past. So you flip it upside, and then when you get in position locations of levels of electron changes the triangle in position of upline, and it goes in this position locations. So it's coming into position, right? So you're bringing this together, right? So now you understand the concept, why it's so powerful to see all levels of view. Now, once you get that in position location, you take the 3, 6, and 9 of the space line, you take the 3, 6, and 9 of all positions of the center line, and you take 3, 6, and 9 of the earth line and the present line, and you put all levels of all numbers together. Okay? Now that forms locations into line center locations to your cube, into your matrix. Once it comes into its matrix, it comes into solar graph location to its atom line system. The atom line center changes position location of fluctuation to its calculations, right? Comes into high line center interference, comes into an atom rotation line interference, comes in energy field position location calculation. Hoo-ah. There it is. There's your atom. Now you got the sun position location. So in line center, equals Adam equals Eve. All right, hoo-ah, right? That's what you guys are coming into. But the cubic center location is all of your data string. Okay, it's a matrix box. It's center line position location calculation. You use this every single time because it's in position location direction. All right. Are you blown away yet? So, understanding why I'm doing so many drawings is to understand how I came into all levels, the keys of the universe of 3, 6, and 9. To get a better understanding, what 1 plus 1 equals 3. Now you know. So that's position, location, and directions. So all you have to understand is that this triangle location is its 3D. It's got to flip up here. It's got to be positioned to change its track center. And this is all levels of emotional system locations, right? Once you stand in that position, location, and directions, you get a better understanding how to get into all level connections, right? So it's got to go from here to here in position, location, and calculations. Setting course line channels interference. Okay? It's traveling very fast. Calculation to high center interference, position, location, and directions. Change the coloration. Coloration line string in position, location. Okay, so starting in this position, start with this, okay? Coming into this. Now, interesting how you look at these things, guys. Look at this. This is how the 3, 6, and 9 and the 12 change position, right? 3, 6, 9, and 12. The 12, once it understands its position, location of calculation, it comes into 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 position locations, all levels, its divisions of its atmosphere line, right? Puts you in a calculation stream, right? So 12, right? So the 12 comes up here, right? 12 here. 12 plus 12 is 24. Okay? 24 sits here in calculation, right? So it's all about bringing 12 and 12. 12 equals 12. Okay? Times pi equals 24. Okay? So when you come into 24, it comes into a full cycle. Now, in that position, location to its directions, it's all about understanding is to change the position, location, and directions. It's all level connection. All right? So it's balancing the communication of its center line into that line system. Okay? So starting here and then here. This position location, this is where it has to end. So this is taking the 12 line center up here, right? Once it has a full clocking system of 12 equals 24, you got a full cycle of a clocking system of 24,000 lines of capacity in that calculation, right? So you take this diamond and you flip it. And then you come into position location of this in high center. Okay? It's amazing when you see it come together. And then you got the north, position of east, and then you got the position location of west coming into a Merkaba. Okay? And the center operation all levels is U, which stays in the center operation system. That's what you're creating, a teleportation unit. So now you understand the importance of what it is and how to use it as you every single day through your life. Understand the space of you, the balance of you, and the grounds of you in the mind system. Okay? So the physical line system has to truly come out of the 12%, which is lines of your 12 DNA. Once you get at a high center interference, you come into higher level rotations calculations to all levels. Merkaba, okay, Merkaba equals G-O-D. Because the Merkaba is position location to its tesseract, to its position location, of its tetrahedron. Triangulation. Okay? So it's important to understand these things, what GOD stands for. And when GOD comes out of track location, it understands position location calculations. Comes out of the equation. Setting graph line center is a higher position location security measures program setting position calculation system. Graph interference is everything, right? XC1000 is basically set up the shape lines, you set up the grid lines. Simplifies. It simplifies. Everything is a triangulation. Everything through communication has to be in triangulation. You communicating with birds, 3 triangle location, that's connected with Belinda, right? There's a triangulation right there. There's 3, right? In position location, all right? So you got 3 here, 6 here, 9 here. You're always in the center. You're always in the center. You never move. But position location, 3 can go here. That means you can change the position location and directions. Okay, and the 9 can go here, and that means you can change your position location and direction of travel, right? And the 6 can go over here, and that means you can change your position location and direction. So it's all about balancing everything that you do through triangulation, right? Once you get past the all levels of the Merkaba equals God system, you reach higher levels of teleportation. Now, this is where you understand the road graph line center interference. That gets you a better location to a system. You got a road graph, okay, and you got your full communications to your Merkaba, right, to your tesseract, to your tetrahedron, to its position locations. All you got to do is create your runway, and your tracker system stays inside line center interference, both side locations. So it's all about traveling. So how does everybody feel about that so far? Now we know why it's so important, right? How 1 + 1 = 3, right? Adam, Eve equals you. You're at 3 position locations, 3, 6, and 9, guys. The 9 always stays in the center. So it's about leaving the earth of the past. Your 9 position has to come into the center. It stays in the center rotation interference. But the atom and position location of Eve comes into your center operation. So Adam and Eve has to be in balance of the sun and the moon. You have to balance an atom and electron, and you have to be balanced with electron with the sun and the moon. 3, 6, and 9. So if you understand that position locations, you understand 3, 3, 3. Heart, mind, soul. Body formation is its earth. Fluctuation, flux capacitor is your position. Freedom, sovereignty, controlling your system times pi. Space in between you. Okay? So now we understand. Yes. Oh, wow. Adam and Eve equals me. Yeah, very good. So you're balancing your life on the space line, and you're balancing your life on the ground line in position locations. Male and the female of you, right? But you got to get the grounds of your emotions, right? That's the biggest thing. And that's all levels of harmonization. Yep. Space line, okay, is all levels of the mind. Adaptation location when it comes into that system, right? The emotional system is the angelics and below. Now, the 9-line center stays on the ground of its past until it understands 9 equals future. But the 9 has to understand its emotional system. The 9 has to understand its Merkaba. The 9 has to understand its travels. The 9 has to understand the GOD. The 9 has to understand the activation. The 9 has to understand the intelligence. The 9 has to understand the communication. The 9 has to understand the school. That's you. That doesn't leave. What leaves is the earth of its past of you. And then you come into your presence of you. Right? That is the birth of 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9 equals yin and yang. All right. So when you're in that process, position, location, and calculations, that's where it gets really interesting. Once you understand more levels of GOD, you get a higher plateau and interference on more memory, and that skyrockets your line conditional levels into your position of space and time. Right? Getting into trajectory location is all levels of 6. Now we got in that position of directions. So it's taking all line center locations into 6 and 9. How do we put 6 and 9 in position location of calculation? How do we do that? Right? The rotation spin cycle, Adam is in position location, okay, as Eve is in position location of motion. Adam equals space, and Eve equals ground centers of motion location. But she's also in the space line. So I'm connected to the space to the Earth. She's connected to the Earth to space. 6 and 9. Whoa, multipass. In position location, when it comes in hindline center interference, you come into all division locations of 6 and 9. Calculation high stream interference comes in position. Hoo-ah. 6, 9. Right? 9 position comes all forms of U to the grounds, to the centers, to space. Okay? And 6 comes position location to all levels of U through its program setting location of teleportation unit line centers. This is line centers of space, and this is line centers of Earth. And this is you on your travel. Here, the stream of 6 and 9. 6 and 9 has to come together. One position, one location, one travel of one time, simultaneously, all at once, living the now system. Hoo-ah. Understand how important it is. Right? Now you know. You get it. Everybody gets it. I know you're trying to figure out, but it's easy. It's easy. You're thinking. That's why it's not easy. Don't think. There's a flow recognition of you. So when you understand the 1 plus 1 equals you, then you understand the Adam and Eve is you. Understand? The male and the female, getting the balance, getting your emotional system, getting your space communication, your computer adaptation line centers. Applied to division locations here, guys. Coming into full cycle line center rotation calculations of yin and yang. All right. Now you understand the importance, right? Wanted to show you how powerful it is, guys. Now you know. You know exactly why you are separated, all right? With your emotions, with your space inside you. That's your separation in between. But once it comes together, in position, location, and calculation, comes into travel beyond recognition of space-time inside of you through your universe. So, all right. Yeah, it's an implosion. That's exactly what it is. So it's taking the emotional system of the triangle, okay, here, and flicking it, putting you guys into 12 and 12 into 24, changing the clock, changing the position of the triangulation, right, this way. Because this is set up, but this has got to get set up through emotional ground system. The only way to do that is to let go of the earth, of the passive you. Once you do that, the 9 comes into the center. It stays there. So once it gets at formation, it comes into 9. Once it gets into formational location, it comes into 6. And then Adam and Lee basically go into the same cyclone communication system in position, location, line connections. 3 triangle force lines have voicing grid location of calculation. Adam, Eve, and yourself in communication. So now you have balance with everything inside, which is trajectory and projecting you in a level inside position. Because you have a balanced rotation of yin and yang, balances everything that you co-create from outside location. Hoo-ah. So, just to give you a little bit of trajectory where I had to go through that, I had to see solar graph. I had to go again, see? I had to go through 12 to get into 24. 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 in position locations is 48 window. And then I go into 72 computer, and then I go into 144 of crystal. Okay? So once you understand the calculations of all levels, then you understand the co-creation of you of 3, 6, and 9. All right? And then 3, 6, 9 equals yin and yang. Yin and yang equals what? Peace, freedom, sovereignty, revelation. Woo! Yay! Imagine that, eh? Isn't that amazing? Knowing what you didn't know, you already knew, and now you know. So it makes more sense now, doesn't it? Why everybody is so separated, right? Because it's inside, and the God has to be in place through its grounds of its emotion to its center, to its position of space and its cosmos of your universal system that correlates everything in individual location of triangulation. You guys are back. So you guys have a lot to talk about now, right? It makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Right? No more separation. You got to separate your earth or your perception, right? Because the earth is its past. So the position location is all levels of you. You have to learn how to use the Adam and Eve line center in direction location to get in your position to travel. Understand how to flip these things up, because you couldn't do that. The position of direction was this. Okay, this equals past equals earth. Hoo-ah, right? So it's changing this position of 3, 6, and 9, just to show you. 12. 12 is at the bottom. 12 comes to the top. Okay, 12 equals 24. Okay, 24 in the center comes into full clocking system in calculation. Now, once that comes in calculation, the triangulation changes its position into this calculation. Downshift, and the one above in space line comes together. And then you get your north and position east and west and south into your Merkaba position. That's what you come into. Once you get out of the path of the earth, this changes the triangulation of its clocking into a new shape. That shape turns its position all levels. It's got to connect, right? It's got to connect. It's got to connect to 4 position locations, all right, to create its atom system. Hoo-ah. So now you know. Now you know. Letting go is the answer. Letting go of everything is the position location of all levels. The infinite gratitude for you. Thank you very much. But I'm just showing you why you guys are separated and why you need to be in position locations, all levels. Understanding all lines. 1 plus 1 equals 3. So 1 plus 1 equals 3. Okay, we got that, right? It's very powerful. You come to that position location of calculations. 1 plus 1 equals 3. 3 starts here. That's your activation. So I take your 1 of Adam, I take your position of the female line and turn you into the sun. Your sun. That's just sun. Higher position to ground line centers. Once you understand your position, you come into 6. And then you come into 9. 9 stays in the center position of calculations of 3, 6, and 9. That's the creation. All right? So you're always in the center, always in the center. You never leave. But you have your flux capacitors to your sun and your moon into all levels of its calculation. Now you got balance to the grounds. Now you got balance with position of the center, which is your 5-line center interference. And then you got your Merkaba, position location of atmosphere line connections, all levels, a magnetic highway formation line, position location directions of data. Signal interference, direction location, 3-line connections, all levels of your past, present, and future. What comes into the now? Hoo-ah. So I can keep going on with 3, 6, and 9 is, but now you know. It's all levels of you. Isn't that amazing? What do you think about that? How do you put that all together? It simplifies things now, doesn't it? Why it's understanding the importance. Getting into all level positions. Right? Understanding you through the sun and the moon of you, which is the Adam and the Eve. Right? So once you understand that balance, then you get into harmonization. This reaches higher levels of deeper core line center to soul connection to your emotional system. Then you get infused. Infused to the atom electron line center puts you into the flow of being in yang of 6 and 9 in triangulation. So I hope you guys had fun. I will talk to you soon in position, location, and directions. Now, we have day 3 coming up. Day 3 is all based on more about understanding your solar system of direction locations, right? Knowing exactly what you're doing, all levels through Saturn, how you connect to your flash drive memories. It's all position, location, your crop circles. It's all channeling you and sideline. So we're going to go through your whole line center of the solar system locations, and that's how you create a crop circle. More information tomorrow. Adios.